Hey there, everybody. Jim Bartow here, and I hope you're staying cool because I'm sweating like a pig. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Anyway, we're gonna be watching the January 6th hearing calls. We're gonna be we're gonna check in on the last hearing and watch events. See what we learned. So as soon as the host lets us in, we'll get started. To be honest, I don't think that's copyright. If it's, if I comment or something like that.
am the Fair and Secure Elections Organizer right here at Public Citizen. We are so happy to have you here for our January 6th Growing Our Movement host call, you all. We are building up the movement. And I know everyone's been watching these hearings, but we're going to go into a little recap shortly here. But if you're just joining us, go ahead and put your name, pronouns, where you're tuning in from in the chat. And also, if you could go ahead and also type in what your favorite part of the hearing has been so far, or your most shocking or surprising part has been. Yeah, so we can go ahead and start the conversation now. People can talk with each other. We can see what's going on and things like that. If somebody could spotlight me as well, that'd be perfect. Yes, thank you all so much. What's up, Alicia from Rhode Island? Oh, that's so awesome. I had a teacher who lived there once. Yes, everyone, thanks so much for joining us. We're just going to give it about 2 more minutes while people join in. Everybody relax, enjoy the music, type in your name in the chat. What's up, Fila? Go ahead and type in your name in the chat, where you're tuning in from, and your pronouns as well. And then we're going to go ahead and also type in what your favorite part of the hearing has been so far as well. Also, if you're not speaking, you can go ahead and mute. That'll be perfect for me. Thank you so much. And anyone who's on our side, if you can manage that too, thank you so much. What's up, Toby? How are you doing? From Portland, I love, oh my gosh, Portland, Maine is one of my favorite vacation spots. I'm jealous of you all seafood 24/7. Yes, yes, yesterday's testimony was just so powerful. Definitely. Yes, what's up, Cindy from Seattle, Washington? Glad to see you back. What's up, Felix? Yes, Shay's testimony was just heartbreaking. Yes, come visit. We were just there 2 years ago. I promise you, I will be back. What's up, Bonita from Sarasota, Florida? I know you're multitasking. I'm multitasking everything. Yes. Oh, yes, we definitely will share the recording. And we're going to start recording right after we go ahead and get it kicked off. So I'm gonna give it 1 more minute. What's up, Jeffrey? Yes, the most shocking part is how determined Trump was at being with the protesters. Yes. Oh my gosh. It's just so like shocking how so much has come out and so much evidence has come out. Things that you would think we already knew, but now we're seeing it. It's like, oh my gosh, no, I didn't even know about this. So we're about to go ahead and get started here. But right before we do, please go ahead and if you need transcript or subtitles, go ahead and click closed caption, and then it shows subtitles as well. Now, I am so honored to pass it off to the amazing staff here at Public Citizen. I am so proud to pass it off to Alicia.
Thank you very much, Carlos. So hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. As Carlos said, I'm Alicia. I use she, her pronouns, and I am so happy to see both some familiar faces and names in the chat, as well as some new ones. So thank you again for being with us on this call this afternoon. The January 6th Select Committee hearings, which resumed yesterday after a week-long recess, have revealed startling facts about the attack on the US Capitol, as well as the wider efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. We know that many of you have been following these hearings as closely as we have, and it is vital that Americans hear the truth about the criminal conspiracy and the ongoing threat to our elections for themselves. The Bipartisan Select Committee's investigation has been fast and effective to date, and their work is still ongoing. During this call, we will recap the key takeaways from the past couple of hearings, discuss how you can watch our live commentary during the final hearing, and we will also share information on 2 petitions seeking to address structural issues that have been made apparent by the evidence presented at the hearings, like limiting the president's pardon power and reforming the Electoral Count Act. Additionally, there will be time at the end for any questions you may have for us. Now, I will turn things over to Julian.
Recording in progress.
Thank you so much, Alicia. Hi, everybody. My name is Julian Reeves, and I use he, him pronouns. I'm going to be going over the greatest hits, so to say, of the hearings. We've had a lot of new information come out, especially I'm sure everyone, was blown away by yesterday's hearing, the surprise hearing. So the hearings started off with very powerful testimony from Caroline Edwards, a Capitol Police officer, talking about the reality of the violence that was seen on that day. That's something that gets brushed over a lot, and it was very powerful to hear someone who was there that day and to hear her bravery protecting the Capitol and doing her duty. It was incredible. We also got to see a lot of that from the documentary filmmaker Nick Quested, who gave never before seen footage on that day to give all Americans a real sense of what it was like to be there. And I personally was very shaken by what was displayed on the screen. We also heard from Liz Cheney that during this time, Trump resisted pushes from his staff to call the National Guard and to, in any way, shape, or form, do something about what was happening in the violence of the mob. The video presented by Quested also showed staffers at the office of Representative Kevin McCarthy running in fear, fellow Republicans scared for their lives of the violence incited by Trump. We also heard several times by former Attorney General Barr that he believed that Trump's claims of election fraud had, quote, absolutely zero basis. William Barr's claims were further corroborated, surprisingly enough to me, by Ivanka Trump, Trump's daughter, saying that she viewed Barr's views as, quote, that she said it was, quote, I accepted what he was saying, showing that there was trust from even in the Trump family of the words of Barr, claiming that there was absolutely zero basis for these claims of fraud. We also know from Jason Miller, senior campaign spokesman, that data specialists and many people high up in the Trump campaign let him know that he was going to lose and that these same sentiments were told to Mark Meadows. The information and the truth about the matter was not hidden from the president or his staff. We know that those high up, some who testified, tried to tether him back to reality, but instead he pushed further and further down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories. On the second day of hearings, one of the things that surprised me the most was that these false claims of election fraud were a point of fundraising for the Trump campaign, and that they raised $250 million off of this ad campaign. And instead of this money going to what it was claimed to be used for, it all went, for the most part, to the Save America PAC, which is Trump's super PAC. On the third day, we learned more about the pressures that were put on different secretaries of state, namely Georgia Republican Brad Raffensperger. He was told to, quote, find votes by Trump. And we know this because we heard it said over a recorded phone call. And these false claims and these pressures brought real attacks and real violent threats to Raffensperger and his family. These threats and this pressure leading to threats continued as we heard from Shay Moss, a Georgia election worker who was wrongly accused of committing election fraud by Trump and his allies. She was subject to vile attacks, as well as her family and her mother, their name being dragged through the mud. They have a long history of being election workers and being pro-democratic forces in the state of Georgia. And now they have been scared to leave their house, which I know was said in the chat talking about this. I mean, for me too, this was one of the hardest hitting parts of all the hearings, which was really saying something. Later, we learned from Richard Donahue, former acting Deputy Attorney General, that Trump asked him to, quote, just say it was corrupt and leave the rest to me and the Republican congressmen, further showing how delusional former president was and his very, very clear attempts to use Department of Justice to push his own deluded thoughts and narratives. And finally, yesterday, the surprise hearing that many did not expect, even the committee themselves, the testimony from Cassidy Hutchinson, a former direct aide to Mark Meadows, about what was happening in the West Wing on that day. While I'm sure many of us assume certain things, this made everything much, much more clear. Trump had violent intent. He was aware of the rioters. He was aware of the weapons they had and their intentions of hanging Mike Pence, and he was supportive of this. He got so far as to attack his own secret security driver, grasping at the wheel and grasping at his clavicle, trying to turn the car back towards the Capitol so that he could, in a general's way, lead this violent overtaking of the US Capitol. These are the things that we have learned and the things that have come out over the time of the hearings. A lot of them were surprising and shocking and terrible, but all things that needed to be heard. I'm sure many of you have been watching closely to these hearings and have seen these things come out in real time. Just wanted to take the beginning of this meeting to talk about all of the incredible and horrific information that has been given to the American people. And with that, I am going to be passing things off to my fantastic colleague, Sophie.
Hi, everyone. My name's Sophie. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm going to be talking about our plans for the last hearing. So when the last January 6th hearing happens, we are going to host a virtual watch event that will have an expert panel, including Professor Victoria Norris, Professor Alexis Carteron, and Shannon Hiller. And this panel will, before the hearing starts, we'll talk about the prior hearings and kind of recap what we've learned so far and really set the stage for what everyone is about to hear in the final hearing so that everyone is ready and can be informed and engaged once the hearing starts. And then during breaks within the hearing, they will provide commentary and recaps of what just happened, so everyone is on the same page and fully understanding what the committee is talking about and its implications. So we would really love for all of you to sign up and come to this Zoom event and try and spread the word to all of your friends and family so that we can get everyone to be engaged and paying attention to this last hearing. So I hope to see you all at that event. And I am passing it on now to Freddie to talk about signature collection.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Sophie. My name is Freddie. I use he, him pronouns, and I just want to hop on here to talk to you guys briefly about two bills that we are going to be gathering signatures for in support of, those being the Protect Our Democracy Act and reform to the Electoral Count Act. And so these are very important bills. For example, the Protecting Our Democracy Act limits presidential power and enforces constitutional bans on presidents who use the office to enrich themselves. So both of these bills are really important as they relate to the January 6 hearings and limiting power and ensuring a peaceful transition of power while also respecting the will of the voters. If you can go to the next slide, we can read a little bit more about the reform to the Electoral Count Act. Thank you. This bill, I mean, it already exists. So we're petitioning in support of reforms that would sort of clarify the role of the vice president in the process of counting the electoral vote, establishing like clear processes for how to resolve disputes should they arise again in the future. So the reason why we're sort of bringing up these now is one, like I mentioned, these are related to the incident that happened on January 6th and limiting presidential power and ensuring peaceful transition of power. And secondly, this weekend is 4th of July weekend, so there's going to be lots of events, community events, people gathered together. So if you feel comfortable attending these events or you know you'll be attending these events, this would be a good time to gather signatures in support for these two bills and reform to the Electoral Count Act. And so, again, we just want to ask and encourage you guys to help us in collecting signatures this weekend. These are very important bills that will strengthen our democracy. So sorry if you hear the background honking, but there's no better way to celebrate 4th of July than by giving back to our democracy. And so we encourage you guys to join us in helping us with these, signing these bills. Also, one last thing I want to say is that if you are in Arizona or Michigan, we encourage you guys to focus more on the ballot initiatives. More specifically, in Michigan, it's the Promote the Vote ballot initiative, and in Arizona is a free, fair elections ballot initiative. So in any of the other 48 states, we will say focus on these two that I mentioned now. But again, in Michigan, if you're from Michigan, look more into the Promote the Vote. And if you're in Arizona, look more into the Fair Elections Ballot Initiative. Yeah, and now we can go to the next slide. Yeah, so this is just some quick tips on how to, get signatures. I know it can be a little intimidating. The first thing I want to say is that do not take any refusals as a personal thing. It's not very personal. It's not really personal. Sometimes people just are there for what they're there for and don't really pay attention. But that's my first thing is don't take anything personal. Again, you want to keep everything. You want to keep it simple. Have two quick lines prepared. Write them down in your notepad. And just say, hi, happy 4th of July. We're outside today, gathering petitions to protect our freedom to vote. So something related to that, short and simple to catch people's attention. Then, a 30-second rule, you have about 30 seconds to make your pitch. So again, writing a pitch down beforehand can be really helpful, giving a brief presentation. And so we also have a fact sheet that you can hand to people so they can read a little bit more about the two bills while you are sort of talking to them or explaining to them. And then another tip I want to give is to just have a lot of materials ready, like a notebook, pens, pencils. You want to make sure that, you have enough just in case you lose your pens or something happens to them, that you have backups in order to just continue gathering petitions. And then another cool thing that I like about petition gathering is that if you find someone who's very enthusiastic about the signatures that you're collecting, ask them to join you in collecting signatures. Sometimes people by word of mouth would like to join last minute. And so it would be good to just find a friend who would also help you in finding signatures. But yeah, so one last thing, just one last tip I want to give you all is sort of just a sort of mock conversation of how it would look like if I were out there on 4th of July, let's say at the beach, just collecting signatures. I'd be like, hi, everybody, or just, hello, my name's Freddie. We're out here today collecting signatures for the Protect Our Democracy Act and reform to the Electoral Count Act. Would you be interested in learning more information? And then they'll probably ask, can you tell me more about this? To which I would say something short like, as you might know, the January 6th committee has been investigating how Trump and his allies have been involved in the January 6th incident. So we are out here just showing support for two bills that would sort of respect the will of the voters and ensure a peaceful transition of power in the future for our future elections. And then I would hand them the fact sheet, to which I would just talk to them a little bit more. So yeah, and then thank you, Akani, for sending the sample petition script and tips. We also have a fact sheet with all of the with the two bills summarized for your ease, so it's easier for you to get those signatures. But I'm gonna stop talking now and I'm gonna pass it over to my colleague Carlos.
Yeah, right before I start though, Akane, anything you wanna add in there as well?
Yeah, I've done this before on other issues, and there's a lot of times you might be going to events where there's waiting involved anyway. Like there's always a parade with a bunch of kids on bikes in my hometown, and people line up like 40 minutes before, and they're just sitting there waiting for the kids on bikes, or like getting their kids' bikes, prettier, or they're waiting because they have to be there 2 hours before the fireworks. So they're just sitting there on their blanket for 2 hours. So you can integrate this into something that you're already doing and just go a little bit earlier with a tablet, with the petition on it, or with the printouts that are really simple. Just say, hi, happy 4th. Do you think that American politicians should respect the results of our elections? Me too. Like, we're petitioning out here to pass a couple bills that we think will help prevent things like what we saw on January 6th. And then if they have questions, there's more in the sheet that I just shared. You just heard from Freddie some really detailed information about the bills. Most people aren't going to ask a lot of detailed information about the bills. It's more about, do they generally agree with your first approach? So do you think that politicians should respect our freedom to vote? Should they respect our elections? Most people are going to say yes. And then when you hand them the tablet or the clipboard, they can read it more. They might ask you one follow-up question, and then most people will either sign or they won't. But it's a patriotic holiday. Even if you're not going anywhere big or don't feel comfortable going anywhere where there's lots of people waiting, you can bring it to your barbecue or whatever and put it on the table next to the potato salad and ask people one-on-one, hey, I brought this petition because I'm really worried based on what I'm seeing on January 6 hearings, and I think we could do more, Congress could do more to prevent this from happening again. Because that's really what it's about, not what, like, there's 24 things these bills do, right? And they're all good things, you know, like the president should be able to pardon everybody that they want to just to get out of following the law. They shouldn't be able to interfere in the Department of Justice investigations. So you can check them out, but most people are going to be on board, but they need to be asked. And we've done such an incredible job building our movement. This is a great moment to talk to people we don't know, we haven't been able to reach, and invite them in so they can come to the next thing we organize together. So thanks so much for considering it, sharing it with friends and family. And I'll be doing that in Milwaukee this weekend if anybody's around here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Akane. And thank you to everyone and all of our presenters that we had. What we're going to do next is just answer any questions people may have about the last watch event that we're going to have. And if, I believe it's London putting it, oh, London, you already got it. Thank you. Just put us all up there. Just the people who presented, you can do that one. Any questions you have just on the last event. I see it's a little bit of problems with the spotlighting, so let me see if I'm able to do it from my end, if that's okay. But yeah, so what we're gonna do is just have a quick Q&A. Please go ahead and put your questions in the chat, or if you feel comfortable coming off of mute, or I'm sorry, raising your hand, and then we will take you off of mute to answer any questions that you may have. And I see one question in the chat already, so we can go ahead and start with that one. From Jeffrey, I don't really know if this is a question. Well, Kenny kind of answered that. Pardons shouldn't be given or asked, they should be earned. Yes, 100% they should. If you have any question, when does today's hearing production begin? If somebody would like to come on mute, off of mute for that, one of our people, I don't believe that there's a hearing today scheduled, is there?
Oh, there is not scheduled. There's no scheduled hearing today. I believe they're taking a break until the first or second week of July.
Yeah, and for the final hearing, we do not have a date or time set for the final hearing, but we are preparing for whenever the time and date that the select committee releases, then we will be putting it together for our commentary as well. Oh, thanks, Richard. So next we have is from Benita Chambers. We are still preaching to the choir, alas. Fox News continues to defend number 45 and calls the Jan 6 committee liars. Okay. How can we break through such cognitive dissonance? Bonita, that's actually a great question, because we are getting ready to gear up for our next steps with this, and we have a few different options that we are looking at considering. Oh, cool, Kenny, you're back. I'll put you on the spotlight with us. So we have a few different options that we are looking at and considering, and we still want to hear from you all on what your thoughts are. So please email us. If somebody could put the January 6th email in the chat too as well, that'll be incredibly helpful. So we have, we're still doing the continued push for the LTEs. We're also looking at holding some rallies to call for accountability or for Trump to be held accountable. We are looking at setting up different like actions, obviously the petition as well, getting people to be poll workers and things like that. And we're going to be doing a poll right before this is all over to get you all's thoughts on what you all think the top next steps should be. Jeffrey, I see your hand. Oh, does anyone else of the panel of us want to address that at all? Cool. So Jeffrey, before we get to your question, I want to get to one more in the chat really quickly. Is From Joan, I'm considering doing the signature collection. Will you send details by text message? And I am going to leave that up to one of my other panelists on this call to answer.
Joan, do you mean text message, or we can email you the links to the petition that you can print out, the link to the actual petition you can give people on your tablet if you prefer to do electronically? We do want you to ideally type in your signatures once you get them. So please make sure that you get signatures that you can read. And one way to do that is when someone hands you back the petition, you can look and say, oh, Carol Johnson, is that Johnson? You can actually write in what the correct spelling is if they've kind of moved away at that point, but that avoids having unreadable signatures later that you have to put into the petition. Just to add on, but yes, we can email you, I think, through Mobilize if you RSVP'd today with everything that we've talked about, the petition sheet, tips, and fact sheet. Thank you so much for considering.
Yes, awesome. Also, if you're gonna collect signatures as well, you can just put in the chat a thumbs up, or put in the chat I'm collecting signatures. Do a little reaction with the thumbs up, however you can. Just we can shout you out, because we always love just hearing about our activists and our movement builders just really taking action. It really it lets us know that we're doing something right, but it also lets us know that this movement is still alive and is still strong. Jeffrey, I'm gonna go ahead and take you off of mute. Go ahead, you should be able to unmute yourself now and go ahead and ask your question. What's up, Jeffrey?
Is there supposed? I thought that I looked at the Wikipedia website. And it says there's going to be an 8th hearing. Is that true or not?
Were you saying that there's going to be a hearing on the 8th, or an 8th hearing itself?
An 8th hearing.
I know somebody else on this panel and knows better about.
I don't think that any of us can crystal ball the committee for you. They're going to tell us when they're having hearings, and it'll be on the website, and that's when we'll all know that there's a hearing. So I'm really sorry. I know it'd be really, really helpful for all of us if we knew exactly when the hearings were, but yesterday was a surprise for us too, and it was a great surprise. It was really powerful, and we just have to accept that there's an ongoing investigation. They're going to do hearings when they think it's most advantageous. Sorry. But yes, that sounds likely to me, but we can't say for sure.
Yes. Oh, and Jeffrey, to answer your question in the chat, is going to be the January 6th hearings@gmail.com is the email. So yes, awesome. Does anyone else have any questions? And if everyone please, and just to let everyone know so you don't have to worry about the chat as well, is we will be sending up a follow-up email with the recording of this video with the links to the to everything, to the mobilizes, to the fact sheets about the petitions, to the petition sign-up sheet, mobilizes, link. You'll be getting a lot of links in a video, and we'll be there to answer any questions that you have. We also have a poll as well before we go, and looks like it won't allow me to open up the poll for some reason.
Let me try it. It might be because I'm the same account. Sorry.
No, you're good. Just it should be polls at the bottom, and then.
Okay. What next step are you most interested in taking? We want to get your feedback as we think about next steps. So this should show up on your screen. I'm going to read it for potentially blind listeners. What next step action would you most likely take? Collect signatures from the petitions this holiday weekend. That's just one petition sheet, but as many signatures as you can. Watch our final hearing Zoom call. Join and/or host a rally for accountability against Trump. Write a letter to the editor, and email us for further ideas that you have at that same email that was just shared. And we'll give you a few minutes to answer this. I see about 40% of you have voted so far. I know y'all love to vote, so I'm going to make sure that more of you have a chance to weigh in. And you can pick more than one of these, I believe.
Yes, you can pick as many as you would like. If you want to take all the actions, please hit all the ones. Even if you love all the actions, you're going to take all of them, and you have a suggestion as well, go ahead and hit that other button as well, just so we know that there are more ideas coming, and we can look for your email. And again, the email is January 6th 6hearings@gmail.com. Thank you again, London, for re-upping that in the chat. Yes, definitely, definitely. Yeah, these are some amazing, amazing actions. And we know this isn't every possible action that can be taken. There are going to be some things that we don't think about that you all think about. There are going to be things that tomorrow, when you wake up in the morning, you say, oh, wait, I just thought about this. We can do this and that. Go ahead, and you have our email. You can go ahead and hit us up about it. Yeah, Akana, how are we looking on the results still? Want to
We
give
have
it a minute or so?
75% of you have voted. I think that's higher than most US federal elections. So I
Okay.
think we can take that. I see one more person. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to weigh in.
Yes, definitely,
All
definitely. I
right.
mean,
Okay. So it looks like 81% of you are going to watch the final hearing. Zoom. 48% of you are planning to join or host a rally for accountability. What?
woo!
It's exciting. I am there with you. Writing a letter to the editor, 43%, making your voices heard in your local newspaper. 14% of you are collecting signatures. And 2 of you are going to email us and let us know what your ideas are. So we look forward to that. And if you didn't get a chance to participate in the poll, please let us know by email what your ideas are. Thanks so much.
Awesome, awesome. Oh, I'm so sorry about that, Rachel. Definitely, as Akane said, if somebody could re-up the email in the chat too as well. Rachel, please go to the email that they're putting in the chat right now, January6hearings@gmail.com. And then please email us any next step that you would like to take as well. And I think in the follow-up email, for the interns and organizers and for us as well. If somebody could just put all the different options that we listed in the poll in that as well, just so people know the different options that are available to them. Thank you so much. You all, as I always say, I love having these calls with you all. I love this time that I feel like you all have ideas. I learn some new things about you all from you all. I want to again thank our wonderful interns and organizers for putting this all together and doing their wonderful parts and letting us know how we can get activated. Thank you, Akane. Thank you, Carlos. Yes, thank you. Thanks everyone for everything that you all have done. With that, it is 4:32. I don't want to hold anybody else up on this fabulous hump day. So please, you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you so much for joining us. And let's keep the movement. Thank you all so much. And we're gonna actually, as we close out, we're gonna play a little good music too. So everyone's in the mood and everything. I love it. I love it. I love it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Ooh, why is this being a little wonky today? There we go, y'all. Awesome, awesome. Now let's get the music poppin'. I know everybody like, Carlos, what's going on? Why is it not jumping off yet? I know, right?
There's all kinds of love in the chat while we wait. So
Oh, I love it. I love it, everyone. Thank you so much. Oh,
yeah.
thank you all. Oh, it is always amazing. That's why I love having you all here with us. I mean, you all are family. You all are family. And I know everybody's like, Carlos, you are stalling for time, ain't you? And I am a little bit while I get all this stuff together. Ah, there we go. Oh, do we got it? Oh, we got it, y'all. Okay, we're doing big things right now. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Everybody can hear the music, right, can't they? I love it. First of all, let me tell you all how much I appreciate all of you all. All the people stayed on this call while they watched me struggle to figure out how to get the music up. That means you all really, really love being here in solidarity with us. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your night, you all, or day. Ooh, them working from home times, y'all. Thank you so much. Yes. It's still 30. Oh my gosh, everyone's still staying in here. Y'all really are like, yes, I love being in community. I love it so much. It's a wonderful song, y'all. Yes, I think it really just culminates the movement that we're in a time where like we've been dealing with so much, especially with these hearings, just hearing it. I will tell everyone this as you jump off the call. Please take time for your mental health and please take time for that self-reflection to make sure that you're okay. When hearing a whole lot of this information that we need to hear, but it's very negative and very traumatic. Please take time out of your day, even if it's just 5, 10 minutes to an hour, just to reset, be able to be okay and relax and calm yourself as well. Thank you all so much. I feel so bad like clicking you all off because everyone's still just rocking with us in here. It's amazing. Well, you all, thanks so much. You will have a wonderful rest of your day and good night. I just not letting me click off.
Let me try that again. Sorry, let me try that again. Sorry, let me try that again. Sorry, let me try that again. Until that, I thought you didn't hear me because I had the that ended pretty quicker than I expected. I think that's some good notes that I put here. Anyway, until the next hearing. This is Jeffrey Barkdahl signing off with the hashtag arrest Trump. Arrest Trump.